Hello everyone, I am Dr. Vikas Singhal. I'm a consultant GI and bariatric surgeon at Department of Gastrosurgery at Vedanta Medicity Hospital in Gurgaon. I would like to take this opportunity to apprise everyone about the World Obesity Day. As we are all aware, obesity problem has become almost a pandemic throughout the world. Over the last 3 decades, the prevalence of obesity has become 3 times. Right from the 1980s up till the last census in 2015, the prevalence of obesity has tripled across the world, and India is no exception to that. The last census, we know that there are more than 5 crore obese patients in India, people suffering from obesity, and associated with obesity come the metabolic problems such as diabetes. There are more than 7 crore diabetic people in India. Together these are known as diabesity or the pandemic of diabesity. The two common types of obesity are what we say the male pattern of obesity and the female pattern of obesity. The male or the android pattern and the female or the gynecoid pattern. The difference is that the male pattern is the worst one, because we see typically in males the distribution of body fat is such that it is more around the waist area, and this is what is known as the visceral fat. So the gynecoid obesity is where we see the body fat distribution is not just around the waistline, but there may be some around the hips area, there will be some fat around the thighs. So this pattern is what is seen more commonly in African countries the world over, not so common in the Asian population. This fat is actually one of the better distribution because this is less likely to be associated with metabolic problems that come with obesity. One of the objectives of the World Obesity Day is to make it clear, make it common knowledge that obesity is no longer regarded as a lifestyle problem or a lifestyle disorder. Obesity is clearly a disease. We have to evaluate obesity like a disease. So if I am to explain this, what I would say is that why does one become obese? It is a balance between the energy consumption and the energy intake and the energy consumption. So it is not just that if somebody's diet is bad, that is the only cause of obesity. It's really the balance between the energy intake and the energy consumption, which is multifactorial. It is not as simple as just somebody not eating right or not exercising. So yes, we have to evaluate the causes, whether there are several causes. There are genetic causes, there are hormonal disorders, there are psychological problems. So we have to evaluate the patient, see what is the cause of this disease, disease of obesity, and accordingly treat it rather than one size fits all. There are several parameters or several measures of obesity. One of the common simple ways to measure obesity is the body mass index or the BMI, which is really just a ratio of the weight to the height. The BMI charts are easily available. You can download one on your phone, a BMI calculator, and to put it simply, it is for this height what should be the ideal weight, that is the BMI. When we get to kids, children, it becomes slightly more complex. So BMI is taken as specific for an ethnic population and specific for the age. So there are charts. So we have to. There are BMI charts for the age. There are weight charts for the height and age. So the percentile has to be looked at. If we look at, say for example, somebody, a 10-year-old child, BMI in itself, looking at BMI in itself is not enough. We have to look at the chart and see, okay, if they're falling above the 85th percentile, they're more likely, they are classified as overweight. If they're falling above the 95th percentile for their height at that specific age, then they are classified as obese, which is when we should start worrying and start addressing it early on. Diet is the single most important factor that contributes to obesity. What research has shown that almost about 70% of obesity is directly associated with not taking the appropriate diet. So, to explain it in a different manner, if somebody is not eating right, no amount of exercise can compensate for a bad diet. So, managing obesity is a spectrum. First of all, I would say we need to assess the cause of obesity. When patients come to me, what I would first screen for is that everybody would need a diet assessment. So we need to go for the correction of their diet. Whatever the inadequacies are in the diet, they would need to be addressed. But then, as I said, it's not just the diet. They may be on some medication which may be leading to weight gain. So we may need to switch them from some common medicines for diabetes, some medicines for depression, some medicines for infertility. All of them lead to weight gain. So we may need to switch them to weight neutral medication which are not causing weight gain. We may need to screen out problems such as thyroid disorders, other hormonal disorders. So evaluation is really the first step. Once we have screened out problems that may be causing the obesity and the patient doesn't have one of those, then the next step is to start addressing it based on the weight of the patient or the BMI of the patient. Everybody, like I already mentioned, needs the diet and exercise. Then we move on to medication. These other options being, we can add on medication to help lose weight. Then there are endoscopic options, and then there is bariatric surgery. As a general guideline, when somebody gets 15 to 20 kg above their ideal weight, say for example somebody is 5'6" height, they should be about 60 to 65 kgs. When they start getting at 75 to 80 kgs in the overweight range, diet and exercise will likely be enough. They probably don't need anything else. When they start getting into beyond that overweight range, 85 to 90, then is where the role of medication can help out. They can help, along with the diet and exercise, the medication may help them lose that 5 to 10 kg weight. When we start getting beyond, the 90 to 95, and then the endoscopic options such as intragastric balloon, endoscopic sleeve, typically BMI 30 to 35. At that BMI, without any, especially if patients should not have metabolic problems such as diabetes and other metabolic problems, that is where endoscopic option would be good and should be discussed with the patient. The key thing with bariatric surgery, I would just like to make a couple of points, is that it's the understanding of the surgery and the motivation for surgery. If one understands the surgery that this surgery will change the diet, it will change the metabolism, their diet portion size will go down. If they're motivated for it, then they will be happy. There's no doubt they will do well, they will be happy. If they're not mentally adjusted, they're not well informed, not motivated enough, then bariatric surgery may get frustrating for some people. So if you're in that weight range, 35 and above, especially if you're having metabolic problems, especially if it is at a younger age, if you have a family history of metabolic problems, then consider bariatric surgery before, along with all the other options right at the onset.